Hello and welcome to day 58. Yeah, how about that? So this process is getting interesting by the minute. I mean, just saying the plot thickens is getting kind of old, that it's constantly twisting and turning, but I am really stretching my own creative capacities. So I cannot actually. First I was surprised, like, wow, this is turning into something very interesting, and then I'm like, am I actually sitting here being surprised by that? Like, no, that's just like a false humility. I mean, that's the point of what I'm doing. So why am I pretending that I'm surprised when something actually expands with the amount of energy? And look at me coaching myself. Hello and welcome. So I'm really inviting you guys to, that's what this is turning into, that I'm really inviting you to my creative process, because there's something that realizes, and this is how I know that I'm being watched, because I can see how I'm being weaved into like a pattern, or I'm creating something with something. It's just not me, and that is becoming very clear. And that is also the gateway into this topic today, fear of being seen. Okay, so I need to stay talking about the creative process, because that's what I decided, that's what first came through. So what happens is that when I wake up in the morning, I look at my day and I see where this fits. So I have to have an awareness that I'm going to execute today's episode. So instead of just running into no structure and just see when it happens, I wake up and I look at the structure, and I have, my day is like modules. It's like energetic modules. And then this one is one. And I try to do it as early as possible if that feels aligned. But that I'm recognizing a pattern within myself. That's better to say. I'm recognizing a pattern within myself, that I'm more drawn to do this in the early in the day, because there's a creative process connected to it. And that's what I want to talk about today. That's what I want to invite you to. Okay, so now I'm overthinking it. So what I'm noticing is that once I have like a time limit, or a time expectation, or there's an intention of the time that is being projected on a certain, period of time away from now. And as that time kind of approaches, something starts to happen in me. And some days it's very clear, and some days it's very deep. But what's happening is that there's this energy that is kind of summoning me. It's, in a way, I'm being drawn to something, and it's a contraction. So I'm being pushed. I'm not being pushed. I'm being, yeah. So what is that energy? What is that energy? Because I have my intention, and then something invites me to do something that is allowing me to contract into movement of energy into that intention. So I'm going through this creative process, and my body just tells me when it's kind of time to go on, because it says, oh yeah, not yet. Okay, then, because something is happening, and then something aligns into, okay, now. And then it's like my day just organizes itself around this event. And the topic just comes out of nowhere. Silence. Because I am putting myself into a creative process. So I'm dedicating myself to the creative. I activate my creative process through the internal alchemy process. So I'm releasing the because I'm releasing and activating the internal alchemy process inside of my body. That also, because no mud, no lotus. So as I am moving the energy in my body, and this can also be connected to exercise. So this can be emotional, this can be physical, energetic. It can be you can move a lot of energy, and that's where it becomes exercise. So it's just the amount of energy that you're moving. And so that's where that's where my body wants to go. So it's increasing the energy. So I'm incorporating the physical activity into the internal alchemy process. I'm doing a lot of this. So where am I going with this? Yeah, my body decides when I'm going to go live, and it's more and more inviting you guys into the process itself, because it's like the cycle is not full, the teaching is not full. So I'm allowing you in my own process, as this is falling into place in my own reality, in myself, in it's like I'm getting an upgrade, and that is where I create from. So that is how my creative process looks. So I have this topic, and I can see how it's connected for myself. So it's back to this Indiana Jones avatar, and that is why the adventurer is the avatar. If you ever done these personality tests for your brand or for yourself and all of this, so I get the sage and the explorer, the adventurer. That's my, and if that's for my brand, then it's for me. So I'm the sage and the explorer. So that's why I think I'm going to start wearing my red hat more, because it's my Indiana Jones hat. So I'm here doing the work for myself, and I just share my findings and my realizations. So this is the expression window for myself. And as I was contemplating this in my internal alchemy process, and that is where the imagery, and I can see it for myself. So it's like I'm chuckling at myself, because I can see in my human design, I'm the 2 line, the genius, and that means the hermit. So the hermit is the genius. So it's like the crazy scientist kind of. I assume they were all 2 lines, like locking themselves away and just immersing themselves in these, just search for meaning inside of the universe. That, I mean, why else are you contemplating these things? So I can see myself that I'm like in this, because it's just so messy. Maybe I don't look messy, but the energy is, the Einstein, that is the energy on the inside. And I can completely see how he's just like, doesn't care about that. It's like, I have the universe inside of myself, and I'm just trying to make sense of it and make other people understand. So yeah, you see, it's like I have no idea where this is going, me either. So this is as much entertainment for you guys as it is for me. That's how nerve-wracking it can be, because just letting go and allowing something to just take the reins. It's a very interesting process. Okay, so the fear of being seen is deeply connected with all of this. So some tea. So the fear of being seen. So when you realize that there is another intelligence, whatever you want to call that, there's something there. And I'm Indiana Jones here. I'm coming here with my findings, and there's just like, I got to tell you, this is what it is. It's like, this is, everyone says it. I practiced it for myself, and I understand it, and it's happening from, and it's like, okay, just stop. There's something else there. And then I realized, like, what all my abandonment nonsense, that I'm all alone, and sorry, I'm not going to call it nonsense, but once you clear it, you have just very little attachment to your own traumas, and that's when it becomes funny, because it's just such a humorous thing that something can be such a huge, have such a massive effect on my life, and then when it's gone, it's just like it was never there. It's so mind-blowing that it becomes, all you can do is laugh. I am watching myself. It's like I'm changing in real time. And when I see and I notice new parts of myself wanting to come through, I sometimes get a little bit stunned. So there's a part of myself that is becoming more, and I'm letting go of the imprints, the illusions, and where I am keeping myself small. So I'm watching that in real time, and that throws me off when I see it. So I'm just explaining what I'm going through. So if I'm acting weird, that's it. So if there's something looking back, and because when I discovered these connections in my face, my expressions, the resentment, and I could connect it to the abandonment of my father leaving the family, and how that. So once I healed that, and that then it's something that is kind of returned to me. That's how it felt when I made that shift, when I realized and I could return. It was like I could pull back a part of myself, because when that happened, it was a piece of my soul, or a piece of my heart, or a piece of my awareness, or a piece of my consciousness, a piece of my energy was taken. It was connected to something that was so far away from me that I automatically attached it externally. So I have a piece of myself, of my own existence, that is so deeply connected to something that was removed away, that it's like there was an energy that was that was connected. So there was a piece of me that left. That's how it feels, because that it was returned. And when I could have that piece of there was like it's a belief system. So this is where I'm inviting you into my process. So there's a belief system connected to it. It was like a belief system came back. So it's deeply connected to how the world works. It creates a distortion in the perception of the world to the child. And when that rearranges, I get access to It's like I was broken, but now I'm whole. But I wasn't broken. I was just, you know, bruised by life itself, and that is by design. We nobody can walk through life and not be damaged, because just the birth in itself is a trauma. So, there you go. It's impossible. It's impossible. It's just like, what the what? That's the first, like, I have to go through this. I mean, going from one realm to another realm like that and then you come into this sterile environment where there's sharp lights and, just someone's kind of slapping you. Like, welcome to the world. Like, it's a big change. It's a big deal. There's a lot of people there, and things might not go smooth, or it's a C-section or whatever. It's not a angels coming in towels and gold is sprinkled. It's just not that kind of experience. Okay, I think I emphasized that enough. Do you think? Getting lost in my own self here. Trying to look all grabbing my notes and stuff. No, we're just having fun. So if something is always watching, that means that I'm never alone. So I was never abandoned. My body, this thing here, my experience, this version, that versions, I was 6. So version number 6 was deeply affected by this. And then version number 48 could retract that and kind of align that and restore that in the being for myself. And when I did that, I get more access. I can function on a higher capacity, because I get access to all the information, and every part of this being is needed. So in my life, in my world, when there's another person who has the authority to say, like, yeah, I think we're just going to remove that body part. What do you think? Yeah, I don't know. There's a lot that can be done before you just remove something, because they're all part of the plan. They're all part of the construction, so to speak. It's like, just because it's not visible, you would never walk into a house and say, like, do we really need all of these pipes and the things and I mean, if we can't see them, why are they so important? But somehow this is a normal way of reasoning in the human realm. Here I am, Indiana Jones, spirit Indiana Jones here. My findings amongst the human, amongst mankind. That's how it feels. I am here researching. I'm here with my findings of how it is to be a human and what others seems to be doing. Oh, there's a freedom in this, realizing that this is what I'm doing. Oh, sorry, this is becoming something completely different than what I saw. Okay, so the fear of being seen. If my belief system isn't directly connected to this experience, that this means that I'm abandoned, and that is, I'm realizing that was just not true. So the child had this very strong reaction. It has affected my life deeply, and getting things resolved is unbelievably powerful. It's just completely different experience in here, so I mean, this whole project is about expanding this ability to be seen, because I realized that I was never abandoned in the first place. That was an event, and we all go through these things, and there's nothing personal to me. There was an experience. It doesn't mean anything about me. Doesn't mean that I'm, doesn't mean all the things that I made it mean. Doesn't mean any of that. And that's a huge revelation. And when I realize this, when I can truly embody that belief system, my whole being just aligns with that, and something new is coming. So I can see now why I was so sure that the capacity, that the platform that I was choosing was YouTube, because I had to come back to a place where it's like, after I have to come to these conclusions, but I had to put myself in a position where I would trigger these kind of events, this uncomfortableness, this trauma, this belief system, this false belief system. So then YouTube long format was the obvious choice, because I understand now that this is all about overcoming the fear of being seen. And I said in the beginning that becoming confident in this format, I felt that was such a big deal for me. It was something that came up over and over again, and I felt that it was blocking me to a point where it was blocking everything. So I had identified that. So how did I approach that within my own process? Yeah, I made an announcement that I was going to go live for 108 days in order to exercise this capacity, putting myself into the pressure of, speak. And I had no plan apart from, I had a huge intention. Don't get mistaken by the fact that I didn't know what I was going to say. The intention was huge. I have prepared for, I understand that it's deeply connected with my deep resistance of getting seen. And that is something that is, yes, it's connected to the hermit state in the human design. And that teaches me a lot about the energetic setups in and around that phenomenon, or that, and like that is a side of myself. And the abandonment issue, that just didn't, they work very well together. So it's all really falling into place, and I can really see what this is about, and how deep it is. And because I was never raised spiritually, we never had, I shared, with my level of atheism, it's like, that was just not a thing. And coming to the realization that, okay, that is what people call God, this intelligence, this awareness, this something, I don't know. I'm just a human on my spirit adventures here, I'm not saying that I'm just sharing my findings and expressing my truth. And expressing my truth in this format is what helps me to become myself. Because I'm putting myself in a very uncomfortable position, which forces me to be natural. That's what I that's the this is that's the important thing, to not be censoring yourself. And that's what I've been doing my whole life, I realize. So this is such a huge liberation process on so many levels. That's where I'm going with this. So if there's nowhere, if you're always being seen, there's nowhere to hide. I can't hide behind a closed door. I can't hide behind a stone wall face. I can't hide behind the covers. And to me, that I realized something about that. That if I'm always being seen, and I realized I've always known that. I remember the biggest moments of my life is that I can feel that there's a presence around, and I felt that since I was a child. And I think that is why I've had so much to work through, because I can feel everything, and it's like I can see everything. And I remember now, it's like I remembered this morning, that I used to walk around and like looking up, and I was wondering why it's like everyone's pretending that we can't see these things. That is such a big realization for me, that because I remember when I was a child, I could just look at someone and I could see, it's like I was receiving their whole situation. It's like I could feel what they were feeling. And some people were I just couldn't look at them because it was just too hurtful. And there's something about that, that whatever we are feeling inside, and I was shutting that down for so many years, what I was actually feeling. And that's why I had to I had a little bit of work to do once I realized, oh, you were supposed to feel those. Okay, I just did that. And they're like, no, then that's okay. But I'm 39. Yeah. That's many years. Bummer. So here I am, taking advantage of the time that I have left. And I noticed, because I've had this sensation in my throat for so many weeks now, and the lungs is kind of they're acting up a little bit, and I'm working intuitively a lot with the lung channel. So there's this grief, and I've been sharing it to you that this grief has been moving along, that is still moving through. I'm not sleeping very well. There's a lot of things happening, and at the same time, there's multiple big moves that is happening on the external, and energy is moving, and it's the horse is horsing. The fire horse is fire horsing. I guess, I don't know if, you should be able to hear Lucky. She just walked in and sang my praises. No. Added to the conversation. Yeah, my energy is just all, I'm in between. So you can notice that's fine. I'm sharing what it's like to be in a deeply transformative process in real time. And that's just not, it's becoming clear. It's becoming clarity. So if anything is everything, if everything is always watching, and the reaction that I have because I've always known, because that's why it's also been so painful for me to do all the mistakes that I've done, because my body has been like, no, this is not good. It's so painful to make the mistakes. And I always known that this is just not gonna, but I didn't understand how. And that's fine. It has to be okay. It has to be okay. But the reaction it has to in me is when I realize that these things are true, then it's like, okay, who do I actually want to be? Because, if the stage is on and the lights are on and the camera is on and everyone's watching, then I might as well, no, I'm not saying that everyone should be like this, but my reaction is, okay, I might as well do this the best of my ability, because, just giving up and not giving a shit is just not who I am. So when I realize that someone is always watching, then I'm like, okay, okay, so this is on then. Is it okay? Is this thing working? Because I was like, there's just no one there. There's just no point. There's just, there's no one here anyway. And all of a sudden, like, the thing wakes up and okay, okay, we're on. That's what happens to me, that there's someone. It's like I've been playing tennis and I felt like there's just no one there anyway. And now there's just someone playing with me. And the reaction that I have in my body is that I want to show up to the best of my ability. And I realize that what does this resemble? It resembles the child's, wanting to do a good job for dad. We want to have that kind of reciprocation, this that we co-create with someone, because parenting is co-creating. You're creating a being, but you have to co-create it with the being. Otherwise there's no, and no not being, there's also a co-creating. And if there's no mud, no lotus, and if we look at the universal laws of balance, then if there's, so my father not being there, that's a lot of mud. But that also means that's a lot of lotus. So what is good and what is bad, And that's where you just tie a big bow around complexity and you leave it a rest, and, enters your truth. I'm going to open for Simba's 2-day training today. I'm going to host I'm going to open for him with a little bit of a practice. So when I look at the time, I realize that. So that is like another energy block in my calendar. So this is one type of energy. So I'm moving into. So before I do that, I want this to be done, because the energy and the things that's coming out of me is like a constipation. It's like a raw. And after this, then I'm like a new person. So I'm doing this every day. I'm moving the energy forward by putting myself in this position. I'm forcing deliberately, with no force or punishment, it's completely, I choose this. And I understand that I need to challenge my energetic setup. So just by having an energetic setup doesn't mean that that's how you should live. That's just so we're very clear that we don't allow the human design to decide who we are. We decide who we are, and then we look at the human design and look at, okay, where are my strengths and my challenges? And for me, if I would just follow my human design, I might have used that as an excuse to just keep hermiting like crazy, but I'm Indiana Jones. So I decide, what do I want to do? Do I want to sit in a cave and look at the stars all day? No, I want to adventure too. And that comes out as I am regulating myself and allowing my true process to come out. And this is a glimpse into this process. And now I'm wrapping up. I can feel, you see, I'm just like, no, I'm not doing this anymore. On to the next. No, I need time to prepare. I have important things to do. No, I need to ground and move the space in between. I gotta return to center and then bring up something else within myself. This is a fantastic process. Thank you so much for being here. If there's anything that you want me to talk about, if there's any questions about any aspects of this, just let me know. Like and subscribe if you enjoy this content. And drop into the Telegram group if you want to be part of the deeper experience and communicate with me. And have a beautiful day. And I will see you tomorrow. Ciao.